My name is Domani and I'm double majoring in general biology and studio art. This is my second year at the University of West Florida, so I've been going here for about 3 semesters now. I chose UWF because I wanted to stay close to home for my undergraduate degree. I live over in Niceville, and I thought this place was pretty great for that. They offered some great scholarships, and it kept me close to my friends and family. And I really love the campus as well. It's just really beautiful. I would like to communicate that the reason why I've gotten where I am is because I've not been afraid to color outside the lines. I know that that's very, very cliche, but it works. I chose to take a second major in studio art because that is something that I am passionate about. That has led me to be able to collaborate with some amazing people that I otherwise wouldn't have met. And because I've had the opportunity to combine my interests and do interdisciplinary work and focus on those connections, I have met some pretty incredible people and gotten to do some pretty amazing things. And I've loved it all. It's been a lot of work, but it's all been work that I love. And everyone, I think, who is in college needs to make sure that they are giving themselves the opportunity to do the work that they love. My current research project is a nutrient study conducted with samples from the Naval Live Oaks Preservation at the National Seashore. We're testing for the concentrations of nitrite, nitrate, and phosphate, and we're mapping out their distribution throughout a single plane in the sediment that's perpendicular to the shoreline. So we're testing 7 different depths at 3 different intervals out, so 0 meters, 15 meters, and 30 meters out, and up to 1.5 meters below the sediment. And we're creating these visualizations so that we can see how these nutrients are distributed throughout that entire plane using online software. And we're testing for these nutrients using processes in a hydrogeology lab. In the lab, we process our samples with different reagents for each nutrient, and this is tested alongside standards so that colors actually appear in different absorption levels that can be tested along standards in a spectrophotometer and show us the exact concentration of these nutrients using the depth of color created by that concentration. We're then taking the results from this and plugging them into Sigma plot to map out how these concentrations interact and appear on an actual plane. I'm going to take that further now that I've done that and experiment to see what artistic interpretations I can make that communicate this data to the public better, because our current methods don't communicate well what's actually happening in real space. First, my research took place in the field, and that was just a single day. But then I very quickly moved pretty much full-time into the lab. I spent probably at least 30 hours last semester in the lab practicing and processing my samples in the lab. But this semester I've moved out of the lab and I'm working from home in order to do those visualization aspects. I actually wasn't the one who came up with the original research process. I was invited to participate in the first year research experience run by OUR last year, and I was paired with Dr. Schwartz because my major was originally environmental science. I met with him and he asked me if I knew what submarine groundwater discharge was, and we just kind of went from there. So I pretty much followed that thread at first. But the reason my research project has taken so long was because COVID-19 hit just as I was starting to process the data that I had gathered in the field. I had to spend a lot of time in the lab practicing to make sure that I could process those samples. So as I was continuing to try to work on this project from home, I had some conversations with my professor about the communication of this to the public. And he suggested that I talk to someone in the art department about combining my passion for art with this project, which quickly snowballed into bringing Professor Asmuth and Professor Fonder onto this project from the art department to mentor me and help me decide how to create an artistic visualization for this. I had a great class from Dr. Evans, Core 2 last year as well, which really got me interested in data visualization, which strongly led into this aspect of the project being added. This research project builds on some previous projects done in the same lab, so I'm hoping that it will add to our database of nutrient distribution in a meaningful way. And I also hope that it leads to creating a better method for communicating our research to the public. If I could accomplish that, I would be very, very excited about that. The moment I saw my data plotted out in Sigma plot, because that was the moment it became real. I succeeded, I got my samples processed, I did it. I mean, the project isn't over, but that was a huge milestone for me, and that was something I've been looking forward to ever since last spring. And I finally got to see that a couple weeks ago on my computer.
My name is Monica Woodruff, and I'm majoring in environmental management. I've been attending the University of West Florida for 2 years now. I'm a sophomore. I chose UWF because typically, with my financial situation, I wouldn't be able to go to college, but UWF offered plenty of financial aid to allow me to do so. The location, it was farther from home, which I like to travel and be in new places, so being in Pensacola, which is 9 or 10 hours away from my home, was a plus. I would like to communicate that you can know nothing about something, and as long as you just stay persistent, you persevere, and you're just enthusiastic about what you're doing, you can do anything, just like I did.
My name is Jackson Bear, and I'm majoring in cybersecurity. I've been going to the University of West Florida for 2 years, and I'm currently a sophomore. It started out with just transportation. Since I have a car, it just made it a lot easier to get to where we needed to go, because there were a few things that we needed to pick up, like the resources that were donated to us. We had to go and pick them up and transport to that place, and so it just became a lot easier with a car and that transportation. So that's just what it started out as, and then it just kind of evolved into me becoming more and more involved in the project, until I was basically a part of it and decided to just fully join it and sign my name on the project.
So the current research project is comparing different methods of growing kale. We're using biochar mended soil, normal soil, and aeroponics. This is basically to find better ways. I mean, we're not trying to make any big conclusions based off this study. It's solely to look at the patterns of different uses, see the benefits of each, and then try to recommend different ways of growing things in a more sustainable or better way. We conduct most of our research at the greenhouse behind the police station on campus. I want to be a horticulturalist for my career, and I like all the opportunities that UWF has to offer, but they don't necessarily have anything specifically in the way of agriculture or horticulture or anything. So as kind of a project-based learning style that I could kind of veer off and do a specific focus on, I thought research would be a really good opportunity to learn more about what I specifically want to do. And it was made possible, like the only reason why I was able to do it in the first place was because of my involvement in the Anchor Down program when my mentor was the community partner from Coast Hydroponics. And so because I had part of that opportunity, like I had an aeroponic system at that point, then my mind just started flowing and I was like, okay, so now I have this, what can I do with this? I can research with this. At first, I was looking to find, which one is the end-all be-all best one, expecting it to be aeroponics because I'm really interested in it. But honestly, at this point, I am not really looking to find anything other than just to see patterns in different forms of growing that I didn't know about before, just to know what I don't know.
Over the summer, I was just trying to grow some pepper plants and just see like what they needed. Like I didn't really know a lot of things about plants because it's not really in my major or anything. And so just getting knowledge about the plants and also just knowledge about research in general is always helpful, no matter what it's about, just getting those methods down.
I am motivated and determined to learn, no matter how difficult it may seem or no matter how much prior knowledge I have. I will learn something if I put my mind to it, and I'll be good at it. I just want them to take it as an inspiration that research doesn't have to be in a nice lab or with an already foundational setup. You don't have to know a ton about it. All you have to do is just want to know something and then just do it. UWF not already having much in the way of growing stuff, a lot of the supplies I had to either get donated, I had to apply for funding for, and then kind of figure out myself what I needed in the first place. It's been very, a lot of problem solving has gone into it. It's been very demanding and perseverance for sure. In the beginning, we had 2 pump failures. We've had to restart our soil group twice. Restart it once and then restart our aeroponic group twice. So it's definitely just been trying to be okay with not knowing stuff and then just going out and trying to figure it out with an open mind. I've really enjoyed just learning things that I didn't expect to learn at all, and just the amount that I know about this topic now when I knew nothing about it before. It's a very liberating feeling to me.